Hello. Welcome back to Self-Made. If you're new here, I'm your host, Jason. I own a seven-figure cleaning company here in Western Australia, fully autonomous, runs without me, and I like to share experiences and knowledge and tips and strategies and all sorts of stuff to hopefully help you start, grow, and scale your cleaning business. So today, I've got a few things I want to talk about. I just got back from a trip to the Gold Coast. I was over there for a week. It was like 10% business and 90% leisure, but the tax man doesn't need to know that, obviously. And so while I was over there, I was having a lot of fun. I went to all the theme parks. So if you're not familiar with the Gold Coast in Australia, it's where all the big theme parks are, like Movie World, Sea World, etc. I went to cabaret shows. I went to the Flamingo. I went to Pink Flamingo. I went to Dracula's. I went to Outback Spectacular. Just had the best time ever. And obviously, when I'm on holiday, I can never fully switch out of business mode. So I'm always thinking about business. I'm always thinking about how I can tie things into my business. When I'm in different like restaurants and even the theme parks I was at, I was crunching numbers in my head and just trying to figure out how their businesses work. Like in the theme park, I'm like, okay, so if there's an average of this many people going on this ride and this ride operates this many times per hour at this cost per ticket, how much money are they making? And then how much is the maintenance and how often do they have to maintain it? Like my mind just goes a million miles an hour, and it's always like that no matter where I am, no matter what setting I'm in or what I'm doing. So yeah, obviously when I'm in this when I'm in this state of mind, I'm always coming up with different ideas and thoughts. And so I'm going to share some of these with you. But anyway, one thing I learned was, I went to the Outback Spectacular, which is this amazing, spectacular show where, you're in this big auditorium, lots of seats, and it's set up. You feel like you're a judge on some show because you're sat behind this big desk that's got like red on it. It's got like mahogany wood all around it. You get served a 3-course dinner while you watch this show. And the show is really, really awesome. It's got all these different Australian cattle. It's got like horses that do this choreographed routine, and there's like acting involved, and there's this whole love story, and there's this massive display of LEDs, and there's like a helicopter that comes in as well. It's just absolutely incredible. So, but the tickets are expensive, and rightfully so, because it's such an amazing show. I think I paid $150 per ticket for 2 people. So went in there, $300 out of my pocket, sat down, and I left that show absolutely awestruck by it. And the last thing I was thinking about was how much money I just spent to go and watch it. And that's because they delivered an exceptional customer experience for me. Money was no factor in that. I would have paid more money for what I got, to put it that way. So it got me thinking, like, we as business owners, especially in cleaning, we deal with a lot of customers who pay us a fraction of that price sometimes and get an amazing service. And we think we've done the best job ever. And maybe we have, maybe we've done like 99% of a perfect job. But then the customer comes in and they've had like a bad day at work, or they have a fight with their spouse, or their kid calls him into school because they've been acting up, and they get home and they see the 1% that was missed, or they see the stuff that you weren't focused on, but they're focused on, and they don't see the stuff that you were focused on when you were cleaning it. And so they complain, and like they ask for refunds and all sorts of stuff, and they leave bad reviews and just, crazy stuff. And it makes you feel really bad, first of all, but it's hard to reconcile that once you get to that stage. It's hard to rationalize with someone who's in that state of mind and is acting that way. And it's like that never really happens in other spaces. Like this Outback Spectacular, for example, they probably never get anyone complaining like, oh, I want to get a refund. Like there's no way people ever ask for a refund at a place like that. It's because they're getting an amazing experience. And, maybe they get some people that come through and just do it just for the sake of getting their money back. But, just based on the experience alone, based on the service that they're delivering, no one is going to be unhappy. And if they are, there's something wrong with them, because it was incredible. But anyway, we need to think about how we can do that in our own businesses, how we can deliver a spectacular experience to our customers in such a way that price becomes completely obsolete. Okay, price becomes completely void to the service. And we can do this in a lot of ways. You might be thinking, well, cleaning is boring, and like, how are we supposed to make cleaning an awesome, memorable, and a spectacular experience? Well, it's everything that happens before and after the clean. The clean itself has to be amazing. You have to do things like, all the finishing touches. You have to make the beds really nicely. You have to fold the toilet paper, the tissues, the paper towels, empty out the toaster trays, and do all that other stuff. Neatly tie the bin bags. But it's also what happens before and after. It's also how you present yourself on the first day you go and quote them. It's how you speak to them. It's the inflections in your voice. It's the smile you have on your face. It's the questions you ask them. It's the compliments you give their home. All this stuff before you've even cleaned their house, before you've even given them the quote. And then after that, it's the phone call follow-ups. It's the emails to check in, see how you going. Hope you're happy with everything. Just want to follow up and check in, blah, blah, blah. It's the emails and calls after the service. Make sure they're happy again. Ask for a review. See if they want anything changed in the next clean. Send them a checklist, a completed checklist of the job that was done. Send them job photos so they can rest assured knowing that all these different rooms were done and they don't have to worry about it. So this whole experience comes together, all these different things come together to make an exceptional experience. 99% of cleaning businesses aren't doing all of this. A lot of cleaning businesses, or a lot of cleaners in general, can do great work, but it ends there. They don't do anything before and after to add to that. And so a lot of the time you're left with customers who are dissatisfied despite your efforts because you haven't done what's necessary to deliver a great experience. A big part of it as well is they need to be better informed and better educated on the service. When I went into the Outback Spectacular, I knew exactly what I was going to get. I knew I was going to get a 3-course meal. I knew that I was going to see a show that involved horses and actors and cattle and all this stuff. I knew how long it was going to go for. I knew when I got there, when I left. I knew the photos that were going to be taken. I knew I could buy those photos. I knew there'd be a merchandise store, all this stuff, right? And even when I got there as well, they informed me and educated me on even more about the show. So they said, they had this massive LED display where they would show waterfalls that accompanied the show and added to the visual effects, and they would have grass and it would grow in real time on the screen, and it was on the floor as well as projected onto the wall. And they hand you a pamphlet that has your photos that you took at the very start, because as soon as you get there, they put you up against the green screen, take some photos of you, and they say, you will be able to purchase these later. And they come to you during the show at your table while you're eating your 3-course meal with this printed out pamphlet that has your photos, and it also has facts about the show. So I remember it saying this amazing LED display, blah, 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 cost $1.6 million. And I saw that and I was like, wow, they've put a lot of effort into creating this show. And so that's value for the customer that I wouldn't have known that otherwise. I see the LED display, I see the screen, I see the projections, but I'm not thinking about how much it costs. I'm not thinking about all the effort that went into it. I'm just thinking, cool. But then they go out there and they state the obvious and they say, this incredible display that we've put together, it took this many hours to put it up. It cost this much money. And so now that's reinforcing the value in my mind because I can see it in front of me and I now know the backstory behind it. And so a way you can do that in the cleaning business is you talk about how you train your staff. You talk about the quality of the products you use. You talk about how premium they are. You talk about how much money it costs you just to run the business, and you inform the customer of these things because it adds to the value of what you're doing. And they may not know. And so what they don't know, they're not going to be able to kind of incorporate into their own subconscious experience of the service. If someone doesn't think the service is valuable, then they can't feel that it's valuable, if that makes sense. But if they know that you train your staff for 2 weeks and it costs a lot of money for you to train them, and that you use the highest quality products, and that all your staff are background checked and fully vetted, and that you have all these different softwares and they'll get email reminders, and you have the right insurance, and you've, crossed all your whatevers and dotted your I's. It's going to add to their experience because they're going to value the service more because of all the effort and energy and time and money that has been invested into that service that they're getting. So that's another example of how you can better inform the customer. It comes down to your policies as well. If you don't have a clear policies and a clear service offering, it can oftentimes, as we know, come back to bite us. If someone complains about something, we can be like, oh, well, actually, we don't do that, or actually, you're wrong. But then they didn't know that going into it. So it's hard for you to reconcile that when you get to that point. It needs to be set in stone before the service even happens. So policies need to be laid out. Customers need to be reminded of this stuff. And before the service even commences, they need to have a very clear understanding of what they're buying, what they're getting, and what the outcome is. So those are a few ways you can amplify your customer experience and take money out of the equation and just deliver on a great service. And that leads me into my next thing, which is still on the topic of money. But I was staying at the Star Casino in the Gold Coast, which is a really nice casino. And yeah, they have a hotel there. So I was staying on like the 14th floor or something like that. And obviously, if I'm staying at the casino, I'm going to go into the casino, aren't I? Even though I don't gamble, I probably gambled like 4 or 5 times in my life. Every time I've actually won. I actually did really well. So like I would go into the casino with a couple $100. I would win like $100 and I'd leave. I'd be like, okay, this is probably where the turning point is. This is probably where I start losing money. So I'm going to get out while I'm ahead. And I did that. I went to the casino on the first night. I was there for 7 nights. So I went there on the first night and I won like $125. And I was like, cool. Went and bought some drinks, bought dinner. And I was like, I just got a free night on the casino. And then for some reason, a couple nights after, I had just gotten back from a cabaret. I was a little bit tipsy, had some alcohol, and I decided for some reason to withdraw $1,000 from that ATM and go and gamble with it. So I went over to the $50 blackjack table, which means it's $50 a hand, and a hand will last like 60 seconds. So I went in, I put $50 down. I was like, all right, I'll just play it slow to start with and we'll see how it goes. I put down $50, lost. So I'm $50 down in the first 60 seconds of me playing. I was like, all right, I'll just relax. I put down another 50, lost that. I was like, okay, I'm going to put down 100 and double that so I can get back what I just lost. What happened? I lost it. So I'm now down like $200 and I pulled back a little bit and I was like, okay, I'm going to chill out again. I'm going to put $50 bets down. So I put 2 more $50 bets down separately, lost them both. And I was like, okay. So I put down like 150 and I was like, I need to double this and then I'll be near where I started, not all the way back to where I started, but I'll be close. Lost that as well. And then I put down like another $150 bet because I was just basically rage betting at that point, which means you're just betting out of anger. And I was all the way down to $300 from $1,000. And this is like 3-4 minutes. So I've got $300 left. And I'm like, okay, I say this out loud. I say, I'm just going to put my remaining 300 down, double this. And I'm going to double it because I've lost every single hand so far. And like the chances of that are just absurd. So I'm like, I'll put $300 down. I'll double that. And I'll just cut my losses and walk out with $600. So I put $300 down. Guess what? Lost it. I lost every hand of blackjack. I lost $1,000 in like 5 or 6 minutes. And then I walked out with my tail between my legs, my head pretty much in my hands, and that was that. So I lost $1,000 in 5 minutes. Pretty crazy, you know. That's unheard of. That's like going up to someone in the street and just taking $1,000 off them and just walking away. Same sort of thing. I didn't even get any enjoyment out of that. You know, people bet because they get an adrenaline rush when they win. But losing just doesn't really feel like anything. You don't get any dopamine or any adrenaline. But anyway, my point is, I went into this business because that's what a casino is. It's a business. And I gave them $1,000 and I got 5 minutes of absolute despair and agony and then just walked out. Did I complain? Did I leave a bad review? No, because I went into that casino knowing the rules. I knew what game I was playing and I knew the ramifications of what could potentially happen. So that's just another example of why you need to inform your customer and have more qualified customers that know what game they're playing. Like I've got the best customers in my cleaning business. We have people that never complain. We have people who love cleaning so much that they pay us premium prices to deliver a premium service. And even if things are missed, which happens because we're all human, we're not perfect, they don't complain. They might tell us and they might do it in a nice way, but they don't complain. They don't leave bad reviews. And it's because we have better qualified customers who know exactly what service they're going to get. They know exactly how we deliver it. They know what we're about and they know what we stand for. A lot of other cleaners, they get clients who don't value them. They don't value the service, and so they pay less money for it because they value it less, because we vote for the things we care about with our money, right? So if someone cares less about cleaning, they won't want to spend much more money on it. And you can easily figure this out by just seeing how much someone's budget is. If they're like, I pay my previous cleaners $35 to $40 an hour, that's kind of what my budget is. They don't value cleaning. Okay, even if they don't make much money, like they don't value cleaning. And so you don't want those type of customers. But unfortunately, a lot of cleaners attract that sort of customer where, like I said, they just don't value the service. And when they don't value the service or they don't value the service provider, it's just a recipe for disaster. They complain, they leave bad reviews. And in extension to that, if they don't know exactly what they're getting for the money they're paying, if they don't know exactly what they're getting themselves into, the same thing happens. They're going to complain, they're going to be left unhappy and dissatisfied. Where in my case or a casino's case, everyone who walks into that casino knows exactly what's going to happen when they put their money in. Obviously, no one walks into a casino thinking that I'm just going to go in here, lose money and leave. Everyone goes in there hoping to win money. But obviously, inevitably, people end up losing. If you win, sure, like you win once, but you'll go back and you'll lose it because that high that you got from winning the first time will then lead you to gamble more and more. And then obviously you lose because the numbers are against you and the odds just aren't in your favor. But you don't complain because you know what you're getting yourself into. And that's kind of my point. And it's crazy that, a casino is a very extreme example where you will go in there and people willingly walk in there and will lose thousands and thousands of dollars for like a few minutes of their time. And if someone just came up to them on the street and was like, hey, I'll get $500 of you. Like, will you give me $500 and I'll do nothing. I'll just walk away with it. And then like, that's it. Just give me $500 and I'll walk the opposite way. A complete stranger asked you that. Imagine someone asking you that on the street. And maybe they're like, oh, I'll throw some cards at you or I'll roll some dice if you just give me $500, but I'm still just going to take it and leave. You'd be like, well, no, that's ridiculous. But that's what we do when we walk into a casino. So I thought that was funny. In other news, I did something that I don't know why I haven't done this sooner. I just bought a cordless vacuum, like a backpack vacuum for the first time. Not for the first time in general, but for the first time for myself. I've bought a Makita cordless backpack vacuum for one of my employees. She did a lot of research into it, and she's one of our cleaners that works like 40 hours a week, and we've had her for a very, very long time. She's always been loyal. She never calls in sick, and she's a great asset. But the backpack vacuum she used, it was kind of taking its toll on her back. It was just too heavy for her. And so she approached us, she did some research, and she found the Makita backpack. And she was like, hey, I'm happy to like pay for half of this. Would you be willing to pay the other half? And of course, I just said, I'll pay for the whole thing. I think it's a cool idea. I think I'm appreciative that you've done the research first before approaching us about it. And so we found a Makita backpack vacuum at our local store. I think it was like 1.7K, including 3 batteries. And like I knew it was a lot of money at the time, and I was like, it's probably not going to be worth it, because at the time I thought battery-powered vacuums just don't last long, they don't suck well, and they suck, and not in the good way that you'd want with a vacuum. But to my surprise, the Makita, it is so light. It feels like nothing. It's like 2 kilos. It's a very small unit, so it's got a very small canister, and the batteries are small, but it's just so light, and it's perfect for what they do. And it comes with like a remote control that you can hold in your hand, and you can turn the vacuum on and off through that remote control. You can check the battery levels. You can activate high or low suction. Just really, really cool. And the batteries last like 45 minutes. So if you think about it, that's more than enough time to vacuum a house. And if the house is too big where you need like more than 45 minutes, you just switch out the battery because they're interchangeable. And so the Makita was a great one. But I didn't want one small and light because that's not the reason that I wanted a cordless vacuum. So in this case, my cleaner wanted a cordless backpack vacuum because the other ones were too heavy for her. So we got her that for that reason. But I went into my local supply store because after using her cordless one, the Makita, I was like, this is really good. This is so convenient. I can't believe how much easier it is without a cord. Like, just think about it. Wrapping the cord up, unraveling the cord, getting all the kinks out, like cleaning a dining room table, and then the cord gets stuck on a chair. And then if you do like a circle around a table, you have to circle the same way back because the cord gets wrapped around everything. It gets trapped under doors. If you go upstairs, you have to go upstairs and vacuum them, and then leave the vacuum upstairs, walk back down, unplug it, walk back up the stairs with the cord. It's like, I didn't realize just how much I hated cords until I stopped using them. And so I went to my local supply store and got the PacVac Super Pro Go. And this is the same size as the regular backpack vacuums, except it has 2 batteries in it. So the Makita uses 1 battery, I'm pretty sure. The PacVac uses 2 batteries simultaneously. And so it comes, in the box, it comes with 4 batteries, and it's said that they last 45 minutes each. And I think they mean 45 minutes per 2 batteries because 2 batteries go in the vacuum. So I paid, I think, $1,300. I got a vacuum with, I believe, 18-volt batteries. It has the incredible suction. I used it yesterday, and it was absolutely amazing. The suction is better than a regular PacVac. It's not light. I didn't buy it. Like, there are lighter ones. Like, there's the PacVac Velo, which you can buy, and it's much lighter than the Super Pro. This is slightly heavier than the regular Super Pros because it comes with 2 batteries inside of it. But I don't care about that. I'm buying it for the convenience. And, I went in with not as much skepticism as I once had about backpack vacuums, but I still thought it probably wouldn't be better than my corded one. And to my surprise, my pleasant surprise, the cordless backpack vacuum is just so much better. It knocks the other one out of the park. It is convenient. It has high suction, and it just does what it needs to do. And the batteries last a long time. It lasted, on high suction, it lasted for 50 minutes. So that's more than enough for one house. Like, I got through 2 houses with the single charge. I spent like 20 minutes at the first house vacuuming and 30 minutes at the other one. And the first house was this like little townhouse, but it was 3 stories. So it had the floor plan of like a tiny 3x1 home, except it was 3 stories. And vacuuming that place usually takes me like over half an hour. But in this case, it took 20 minutes because I didn't have to worry about a cord and going up and down the stairs. And so that was really cool. And I'm glad I finally took the plunge and got myself the cordless one. I don't know why I haven't done it sooner. I've been doing this for 5 years. I've been, the business has been going really well for like 4 years. Really, really well for like 3 years. And so I don't know why I didn't just make this investment sooner. Would I recommend doing this for all your team members if you have a large team? Hell no. I'm not going to spend $1,500 for over 30 people on a vacuum, but if you're a solo cleaner, or even if it's just like you and maybe 1 or 2 others, and you can justify an expense like that, you will be really, really happy with that decision. I have no buyer's remorse about spending $1,300 on a vacuum, even when I have 20 other vacuums at my disposal, just for the simple fact that it doesn't have a cord. I hate cords. I'm never going back. I'm so glad I took this step, and 100% recommend it to anyone listening who's, maybe you've been thinking about it too. Maybe you thought the same things I did, that battery power just isn't better than corded. The only thing it's better for is convenience, and that it won't suck as well, that it won't last, blah, blah, blah. But I was completely wrong. And if you think that, well, so are you. And if you're inside Booked Out Cleaners or even following my Instagram, you would know that I've recently taken Booked Out Cleaners private. I've stopped accepting just anyone into the group, and there's a few reasons I've done that. So first of all, I noticed I had people coming through that were signing up and then leaving after a month. So they pay like, $100 or whatever it is, and they leave after a month. And those people are not going to get anything out of the program if they only stay for 30 days. Right? So I just don't want those people. Even if they want to give me $100 and never do it, I don't care. I don't need their money. I want to work with people who really care about their business and really want to grow. So that's one of the reasons why I did it. And the other reason, which kind of just ties into that, is I want to pre-qualify people better. I only want to work with people who I think are a good fit for me and vice versa. So I've closed the group. It's now private, and people now have to book a call, and I go through like a screening process. And if I don't think the person will be a good fit, I'm not going to let them in. But if I do think they're a good fit, then obviously they can join in, and we'll work out like a 12-month commitment. So that's why I've done that. I'm not motivated by money with Booked Out Cleaners. As I've said before, it's for the time I put into it. Like, I don't put a lot of time into it, but for the time I put into it and the financial output, like it's nothing crazy. Like I make a lot more than that in my business per hour by not doing anything at all. You know what I mean? So it's really a passion project of mine. I love looking into other people's businesses and seeing where I can use my knowledge and my skills and my experience to help grow their businesses and share some of my own insights and systems and strategies that other people are using. So getting lots of awesome feedback, which is great. A lot of people loving the courses. I just dropped, I say we, it's me. I don't even have any like VAs helping me out with the school. It's just me. So I dropped the hiring course recently, and the feedback and the reception for that has been amazing. Everyone loves it. Everyone is taking action, which I love to see. The thing I hate most about a lot of business owners these days is they just consume all this information, and they think they're getting smarter because they're reading all these books and watching all these courses, listening to all these podcasts, watching all these videos, but they never take action. And inaction is the biggest indicator that you will never succeed, right? Like, if you don't do the thing, you will never get good at the thing, and so you'll never become successful at the thing. So if you want to grow a cleaning business, it's not good enough to just consume all this information and pack your head full of all this knowledge and stuff, but never actually do anything with that. So it pleases me that I'm seeing everyone inside there taking action. People are saying that they've set up, their spreadsheets, they've been using the ad templates and they're implementing them, and they're, doing everything as I said in the course, and I showed it, and they're doing it like straight away. There's people who had pretty much set up their entire hiring funnel the same day I posted the hiring course. And I look at that and I'm like, these are the people who are going to succeed. It's not the people who say they're going to do it. It's not the people who consume all the information and learn all the stuff. It's the people who just do it, right? There's two ways you can learn. There's the school of prior learning, and there's the school of hard knocks. So the school of prior learning is like Booked Out Cleaners. You can learn from people who have already done it. I've done it, so now I'm showing you how I did it, and you're learning from my prior experience. And then there's the school of hard knocks. So you can do the thing yourself, and you can figure it out as you go. You'll trip over, you'll fall down, but you'll pick yourself back up and dust yourself off and be like, okay, that didn't work, so let me try this. Now, the best thing you can do is combine the two schools. So you get the school of prior learning and the school of hard knocks. So you learn from all of my prior learnings and all of my prior experiences, and then you go out into the real world, into the school of hard knocks, and you do it yourself. And you implement it into your own business, and you see just how it can fit in, how it works, how it doesn't work. And then you can use other prior learnings and other experiences and your own intuition as you're going into this school of hard knocks. And then eventually the input then leads to the output, which is the goal that you have or the outcome that you desire. If it's like hiring, then, you finally figure it out and you crack the code and you have the perfect hiring system for your business, because it's not going to be perfect for everyone. There is a lot of kind of DIY stuff that you'll have to do because everyone's business is different. It's like I could give someone the complete thing where like I will train your staff, I will do blah, 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 but it just doesn't work like that. So and that's not how business works in general. You can't just do everything for someone. Like you can show them the strategies and the framework, but you have to let people fill in the gaps themselves and use their own intuition and their knowledge of themselves and their own business to then create the right inputs, if that makes sense. So yeah, really happy with how people are taking action. The community we have now is like really, really optimized. We have I think we have like 70 people in there who are all just focused on growth and taking action and doing the things they need to do in order to get to the places they want. So from now on, Booked Out Cleaners is closed. You can only join by application only. So if I don't think you're the right fit for the community, or if I don't think I'll be a good, like, I wouldn't say coach because I'm not a coach, I don't consider myself one, but maybe a good mentor, then I'll just shake your hand and we can leave that conversation as friends. So yeah, that's something you should do in your business as well, is that you should pre-qualify your customers. We do it at Enhanced Cleaning. We don't just take anyone. If you ever get a gut feeling, or like there's a red flag that presents itself, or you just don't think it's going to be a good fit for you as the business owner delivering the service, or the customer buying the service, then you should leave it there. So there's a few things I wanted to impart with you today. And yeah, I'll see you all next week. I might talk about cleaning products a bit more. I don't think I've ever talked about in the 30-something episodes we've done. I've never done an episode just talking about products and chemicals and equipment. So I might do that for the next one. I'll talk about all my favorite ones. I'll talk about all the things we use, all the things I've tried, and we'll see how that goes. So thanks for listening to another episode of Self-Made, and I'll talk to you again soon.